All right. Hey guys, Rainer here. Super excited to continue to promote this great cause and the whole Personal Best Hockey Return to Play charity campaign as we continue to bring awareness to my community as well as yours. Super excited to have Jordan Davidson, friend and teammate from the Kenora Thistles, which is 10 to 12 years ago already for me now. And Jordan, after seeing my post on Instagram, reached out to me asking how he could get involved. And so somebody else who's very passionate about mental health and its awareness, he offered his help. I said, well, let's get on the podcast. And we just had a great discussion about a few different topics and really exciting stuff that I wanted to share with you guys. Jordan, of course, played with me, and then he continued on through junior, and then a bit of a bumpy road between junior, university, and then eventually becoming very turned on to health and fitness, entering bodybuilding shows, doing long distance cycling, and of course now putting his career to work and the whole COVID thing. And so the conversation went really well. Super excited to show it to you guys. And thanks so much for tuning in. Jordan Davidson, how are you, my friend?
Good, man. How are you?
Good, really good, really busy. Super excited to have you on here today. As this is
episode 6
of the Personal Best Hockey Return to Play charity campaign podcast. I don't know if I should call it a podcast or discussion interview. Had an interesting talk with a buddy at work about what I'm doing, and he said, so you're going to do that? You're going to keep doing that? And I said, I don't know if it's just a project or if it's going to be something that continues on, but nonetheless, it's a journey, and I'm happy to have you on board with that. I think we have a great story to tell, as we discussed previously when we got to FaceTime while I was in the van and I was in my high vis.
There you go.
And so I would like to first apologize to the audience in saying that I got home from work about half hour ago. I started work this morning at about 6 a.m., so that's 12, 13, 14 hours. I'm fueled up now. I grabbed an ice cream sandwich and a ginger ale on the way through the door. I changed my shirt. I didn't get a shave. I didn't redo my hair, and I'm ready to rock. I'm absolutely buzzing. So, Jord, thank you so much for being on. And I'd like you to introduce yourself and tell us just a little bit about what you're up to these days.
My name is Jordan Davidson. I played hockey with Kevin back in the day. We were part of the Kenora Thistles. I think we only played for one season together, but I played against you pretty much my whole life. I grew up in Thunder Bay, right? And you were always on like the West team that we'd play, right? So
yes,
I think we were on the Thunder, weren't we, that one year?
We played summer hockey together with that team for sure, multiple times. And of course, got to meet you and a couple other colorful teammate folks, including your old man, who's an absolute beaut. And great times growing up playing both against and with each other, as you said.
Yeah, I didn't go in your corner much.
No, you should avoid that. You should avoid that. But yeah, and so I guess backing it up to when we're 15 years old, right? Like we're playing AAA hockey. We both move away from home at a young age, moving into billet homes, which is a strange thing to do already on top of leaving home so early. And I myself speak very highly about all the billets I've had. They've been so supportive and so encouraging, and making sure I have proper meals, making sure I'm properly fed and properly disciplined, right? I thought when I was going to move away from home that, I got to run away from mom, and all right, yeah, I'm away from mom, at that kind of age where, people start drinking in high school and you want to be part of that. But luckily for me, my parents, they turned out to be right, kind of fought against me on that. And so I was super excited to get away from home, not just to go play, but to get away from my folks. But then I was quick to realize that the rules where I was going to live were actually stricter.
Yeah.
And, myself, I have great experiences. The people I lived with were awesome. And I know that on top of it being a strange time, it's not so easy when you have tough billets. And we don't have to name names, but I know that you had a tough time in Kenora when you moved away at a young age.
It was just kind of on certain circumstances that just didn't work out too well. For the most part, though, all the billets that I have been like they're unbelievable. Basically, my second parents. I still talk to some of them all the time. And actually, one of the billets I've had has a son the same age as my brother, so they played like summer hockey together and stuff like that. So because I lived in their house now, my brother knows their son. So, but my first billet, what happened was I was living with a girl. She was 23 and she had a little boy. So she was just a busy mom. You know what I mean? And I mean her first kid and stuff like that. And I don't think it's a little different when you have a 15-year-old, 16-year-old kid that eats absolutely everything in sight. You know what I mean? We're playing hockey 6-7 days a week. So came to the point where I ended up I was like, well, if there's not enough food cooked, you know what I mean? I didn't know how to cook at that age. So I basically just got my mom to send me, I kid you not, like crates of of rye bread, peanut butter, natural peanut butter,
Oh,
but and then Smucker's seedless strawberry jam, and I crushed like 6 to 8 PB&J sandwiches a day. Like I kid you not.
so is that less or more than what you eat today?
Oh, I'd say I don't know. I think what I eat today is a little bit more filling and way more nutritious, of course. But like I just looking at it, man. I go through like a jar a day, like a jar of jam a day.
Back then, back in Kenora,
Yeah, just think about how much sugar that is in a day.
a little too much,
And I
probably.
and I, and I was losing weight.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, we were pretty active back then. If I eat that today, I'd be 300 pounds for sure.
Um, and so, of course, our time in Kenora was awesome. Really great time. Funny enough, today I was on the road and I saw a crew guy. There was a separate crew. It wasn't my crew. And I drove past and I thought I recognized him. And it was when I go back and forth all day, right? So I went forward past him. And then when I was backing up, I go past him again. I had to yell. I was like, is that who I think it is? Alex Bone in the
Yeah,
flesh.
that's so funny. The last time
Alex.
I seen him, dude, I was in Thunder Bay and I took my girlfriend for a round of golf. And I'm pulling up and I was like, oh, I should probably honk at this guy because he was just teeing off in the tee off box. I was pulling up right behind him. I was nice enough not to honk and stuff like that. But I literally step out of the car and just absolutely shanks one out of bounds, turn around, it's boner. So I made fun of him, of course. I was like, nice tee shot. And he turns around, like, oh, who's this random guy making fun of me? Oh, what's up?
Man.
So funny.
But so, of course, Alex Bone, a teammate of ours, when we moved away, we was our age, 93 born. And when I went to Kenora, I lived with Mick. I lived with Mick and I lived with Matt Benson, who grew up on my same block, but childhood best friends. And Bone was our third roommate. And our
Oh, so
set,
I forgot that you roomed with him. Yeah.
yes, yes. And so it's hilarious that you and I were writing each other this morning, and we talked previously a little bit, and we were trying to plan this and a date and a time and whatever. And then, you being from that time period of my life, all of a sudden I see somebody who's also very much part of that time period
Oh, for sure.
on the same street wearing hard hats. I got a photo. Hopefully I can have it edited into this video. Had to take a picture because we had to send it out to, again, guys from that time period. And so now I messaged Robbie Fisher. He's like, is that Boner? And Robbie
No
and I
way.
have spoken forever. And so I said, man, we got some catching up to do. I'm kind of in this time period right now, very much, obviously, because of our conversation that we're about to have. But no, again, I appreciate you coming on here, getting back more to the point. We're here to talk about some important issues. We're here to talk about mental health and challenges we as individuals face, and how not everyone is exempt from having these challenges. Yourself, myself included, and big time of change, especially right now in the face of COVID. But you yourself, after having that amazing time in Kenora, then proceeded to play junior, and then there's the challenges that come with that. And I think, if I recall correctly, you faced a little bit of injury trouble, and you never really grew beyond the size you were maybe when we were in Kenora, and
Oh
you
yeah, for sure. No, I definitely didn't get any taller. That's for sure. Yeah, I'm a solid 5'7" on a good day. So
But so, tell us a little bit about the journey from Kenora up to junior hockey, And then, of course, beyond junior hockey, I know myself, I'm very fortunate to be playing at the age I am because most guys stop playing at the age of 20. And that's just a simple fact. And so the challenges you face when hockey's over, man.
So I played Kenora, and then I dealt with some injury troubles there, which was crazy because I had the only injury I'd ever had previous to that was like a concussion. You know what I mean? So like my first, I think it was honestly because of the peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, man. Like my nutrition was way off and stuff like that. I was like getting sick and stuff, and I ended up breaking my wrist that year. And
Mhm.
then I came back and I was healthy. And then my second year, the first preseason game, I took a nasty bump into the boards and like literally first game of the season and separated my shoulder.
Mhm.
So I was out for what I thought would be 5 weeks. I came back early and took a couple shots and basically had to start rehab from scratch again, right? So
Yeah.
I had kind of a horrible last season in Kenora because of just the injuries and stuff like that. I went and tried out for a couple teams. I ended up playing with Boner and Sioux Lookout for a year. Me, Corey Lacoste was there, Royce King, Timmy, all the boys were there. We all Benson came later on
Yes.
too.
Yes.
Yeah, it was a pretty good crew of us up there. But we all kind of wanted to go home, and I kind of knew I had a horrible year that year as well, and I kind of knew that was it for going anywhere with hockey with me. My
Mhm.
mom kind of gave me a one off chance. She's like, "I know you're gonna go to school. I know you want to be an engineer or whatever you want to do, right? So I'm gonna give you 1 year to play, and if you don't tear it up, you're coming, you're getting back here, and you're going to school." So I was like, "Okay, sure." So I played the 1 year of junior and then junior A, and I came back and I started the season off with the North Stars. And honestly, at a point, I was like, "This isn't for me. I'm just gonna pursue school full time." Because like, what do you really play hockey for at that time? It's either because you absolutely love the game, which I feel like at that time, just what had happened the previous years, I just wasn't in love with the sport anymore, or
Mhm.
it's to get a scholarship. But I was literally already going to school, right? So
Right. Right.
playing hockey at that point of my life was just kind of setting me back in what I wanted to do as a career and kind of I needed to move on with my life, right? So I ended up joining Nipigon Junior B team, and I went to school full time in civil engineering at Lakehead. So it took me a
Right.
little longer because I was playing hockey during it, but I finished in 5 years and then went straight to the workforce, man. So
Right. And so, of course, you gave it your all at the game, and it was great to you. It gave you a lot, but it also took some away in the injuries and the maybe slowing you down to what you were eventually going to go do anyhow. Um,
I knew what I was gonna. I kind of had a feeling of what I wanted to do when I was in grade 10, 11. So I
right.
just loaded up on all the math because I liked it and sciences and stuff, and I knew what I was gonna do. So yeah, you're right. Like it was just kind of hockey was instead of propelling me forward, just kind of holding me back in some cases, right? So
And so, knowing full well your direction, anyhow, you continue to play. But then, even though you know exactly the direction that you want to go and you're excited to go, hockey's over and you're still forced with a serious time of change. Even though you're graduated and you're pursuing that degree, you kind of had to find something else, right? And I think that leads us into what we would like to talk about next. And I mean, you might be 5'7", but you make up for it in your width. And gone are the days of you and I doing core and shoulders. I can't keep up to you anymore. You're massive, and tell them about how massive you are. Seriously, like
I
it's
I, I
impressive.
wouldn't I wouldn't say that, but yeah, no. Once hockey was done, I actually finished hockey. Would have been my third year of school, so I still had 2 more years of school left. And so, well, going from junior A to junior B, it's completely different, right? And then I found the case of beer. So to that point, honestly, I like you said, being away from billets and you wanting to go to parties and stuff like that. I honestly was so focused on school and hockey. I really didn't enjoy high school to like its fullest, right? So even when I was in Sioux Lookout, I got a full time job, literally a full time job, working at a grocery store as a cashier. So like I always kept myself super busy, right? Didn't really have time to mess around. So now that hockey was over, I just had all this extra time on my hands. Like I mean, I coached hockey, but I just started going out and like living the life. You know what I mean? I was like single for like the first time in a long time, and I was just enjoying life and honestly, I thought that's what I wanted to do was, go out on weekends, enjoy, and see all my friends and stuff like that. And I honestly, I got away from working out. I got away from playing hockey. Like I didn't even play scrimmage, man. Like nothing. Like
Mm.
my
Yeah.
skates were just put away, and that was it. And I ended up getting up to like probably, like you said, I'm 5'7". I was probably 220, 225.
Well, I remember bumping into you when I was passing through Thunder Bay, and it was just totally by chance that I ran into you. And you were a couple of years removed from playing the game, and I also want to point out that when I was telling everyone how huge you were, I was talking about the fact that you are very into health and fitness right now. Of course, we're getting into that, but when I did see you, you were noticeably not being physically active,
Yeah,
and
not
and
fit at all, or to be
right.
honest, right? I was crushing that. Domino's had my number on speed dial.
You
Yeah,
want a
so
pizza? Oh, you don't want a pizza? Okay, yeah, you
yeah.
do. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, the 1 a.m. call walking back from the bar. But yeah,
Yeah,
so I didn't really have anything to kind of go to. And I was like super competitive my whole life, whether it was like mountain biking, track and field, running, like hockey, right? So what happened is that I always enjoyed the gym, as you said before. We'd always train pretty hard, so I kind of just focused all my efforts onto that. And also, when you're training really hard, you don't want to put your body through the stress of drinking and eating horrible food, right? So I thought to myself, I was like, what can I do here? So I decided that I was going to enter a bodybuilding show.
yeah,
So my goal was is that I was going to enter my first bodybuilding show, and I was just literally going to kill it in school my
mm,
last 2 years. So that's what I did. I just kind of focused on my health. I cleaned up my diet. I got away from drinking, which that's kind of linked to mental health. We'll get to
yeah,
later, but
yeah.
but I got super into health and fitness and use that as an avenue to kind of keep me busy and keep me focused. Kind of like when we play hockey and we're going to school at the same time, right? So
I'm really fascinated with the idea of how important health and fitness is to one's own mental health because it's been so beneficial in mine, and you can attest to how beneficial it's been to yours. Um, but in imagining that, I realize that there's so many people who shy away from the gym. And I think there's many different reasons people do shy away from the gym. And the one that I find coming up most in the discussions I have with people is that, well, I don't know what to do. Oh, well, I don't want to look dumb, or, oh, well, and they're intimidated. They're intimidated by the environment. And the best way I could describe it, the most awkward environment I myself have ever been in, where I felt like, well, I'm not very good. Oh, I'm not this, I'm not that. Oh, there's so much better, is the skate park,
oh,
right? You go to the skate park, and it's the cool kids, right? They're all hacking darts, and they're maybe meeting again, and it is competitive, right? And so if you've never done it, well, then of course you're not good, right? You have to be a fool before you can become a master. But so I think it's important to emphasize to people that exactly that, you have to get in there, and you have to just give it a shot, and you have to kind of be humble and be like, yeah, I don't know much. I'd love to get in here. And I think trying to help people understand that as much as everyone's in there for themselves, it's really a team environment in there. Like I go to the gym, and so long as I start a conversation, and I'm trying to start these conversations a little more. I haven't been in a gym in a while, by the way, but of course, because it was closed and reopened, now any chance I'm at, like, of course, not water fountain, but I'm between sets, and man, am I glad this place is open back up again. And here it comes, right? Now it's a conversation, right? Now we're not even working out, and there's real beauty in the friendships and bonds that are made in the gym. And I guess kind of describe, what you would express to somebody that's new. And because, I mean, you're a bodybuilder, right? You're arguably the most intimidating person in a gym. And so I think it's powerful if you were to tell the audience, like, you know what, like, yes, join the team, like, come on in, like, you know what I mean? And so, um, yeah, what advice would you give to somebody who is intimidated by you or the gym itself?
I wouldn't say I'm the most intimidating person at the gym. I look like I'm 12, if you can see. So, but besides that, though, like, okay, before I get into that, I'll tell you a quick story. So
Yeah.
I was a personal trainer at Movati in Thunder Bay for a while, and
Okay.
they put me through a course so I could be certified personal trainer, right?
Mhm.
And I forget what the stat was. It was something nuts, like that people before they enter the gym, like it's before they get a gym membership, like they literally people will sit in their car outside and see what kind of people are walking the gym
Wow.
because they don't know. So
Yeah.
I forget what the study was, but they wanted to know that these people wanted to see people like them
Yes.
going to the
Yeah.
gym so
Yeah.
that they wouldn't be intimidated. And then they might
Yes.
walk in the door the next day. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? So it's
Mhm.
just kind of crazy. But look back to it. Me and you both played hockey. Our first time on the skates, did we
Yeah.
skate circles around everyone and shoot the puck top corner?
Right.
No, but when you're a kid, you don't. It doesn't register that you're embarrassed, right? Because you see all these other
Right.
kids kind of around you flopping all over the ice, and hey, you stood up the first day, so you were the man, you know.
You're just excited, right? You're an innocent little kid. You don't have these insecurities that we as adults,
Exactly.
all us adults, have, and um, that's a crazy story about. I also am very interested in getting my own personal training certification, so that's something we can totally talk about elsewhere or on our own. But um, I want to really encourage people to uh, step foot in the gym. I think it's huge. I think that in taking care of yourself, either physically or mentally, does both if you do it in a physical way, right? I know that I myself feel so good after a good workout. I know that myself, if I go to the gym and even if I don't have a good workout and I'm around people, I see people, right? It's really good for me, right? And so um, start small, right?
Oh
Start
yeah.
small, low expectations when you step into the gym, and I think there's so many resources online, and yourself included, and we'll get into that. So many resources online, tips, tricks, routines, um, and so
It's all out there, man. Like when I
all
remember
that.
the way I learned, man, was googling stuff and YouTube and stuff. And you know what the funniest thing was is that when I was probably like I'd say like 17, I
Mm.
joined like the biggest meathead gym that there was in Thunder Bay at the time. Like the biggest meathead gym. And I'd be in there, man. I was the smallest person by far. Like if you weren't squatting 4 plates, you were like you're an insignificant ant. And you know what the funny thing was? Those guys would come to me when I was doing something wrong, and they wouldn't be afraid because it was a small gym atmosphere.
Right,
No,
right.
hey, try it this way and stuff like that.
Yes.
But I feel like now people are so scared of criticism and stuff like that that like often I see people doing stuff wrong,
Right.
and I'm like, oh, I want to go say something, but we're kind of taught not to say anything, let people do their own thing, right? But the way I learned was that someone told me, right?
I,
Like people correct my form. Like I remember coming up and I was tapping the weights at the very top. Like, oh yeah, I'm the big man on in the
yes,
house,
making
getting
noise.
these weights up, making sure, right? And I
Mm.
remember the gym owner walked up to me. He's like, "Yeah, that's useless. That's useless. Like, 2 finger widths at the top apart.
Oh
You
yeah,
know." So to be honest, man, like if you see someone that seems intimidating at the gym and you don't know what you're doing, they're probably the person to talk to. To be honest,
right.
man, like if someone asks, I've had people ask me at the gym, like, "Oh, can you give me a spot?" Or, "Oh, hey, can you show me how to do this?" "Oh, for
Right.
sure, I'll
Yeah,
100% help you."
yeah.
Like the only time I wouldn't is if I'm like deep in a bodybuilding prep and I got my big like you'll know
Right.
I have my huge headphones on, but if I got my iPod phones on, you know what I mean, like the little dangly cords and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Or I'm taking them out like to have a conversation and stuff like that. Like 100%, most of the people that you see in the gym that are super fit love
Right.
it. This
Yeah,
is our vice, right? We want to share it with the
yeah.
world. So
Exactly.
if you ever want to hit anybody up for information, like literally ask the person at the gym that you aspire to look like per se, or hit them up for knowledge if you think that they might have something to share. People
Right.
always want to pretend they're smarter than they are, right? So they're probably going
Right.
to spew their hearts out to you anyways.
Well, and so if you can go into the gym with an open mind, right, a student's mentality, right? I'm here to learn. I'm here to observe. I'm here to ask questions, right? I know myself, and I think that the big headphones is a telltale sign. Like this guy means business, right? He
Oh
might,
yeah.
like
If a
he's
guy if a guy's wearing a Converse shoes, a hoodie, and he's got those big phones on, yeah, just don't talk to him. Let him do his
he's
thing.
he's not the teacher. He's very tunnel vision, very very focused.
Yeah,
Maybe
exactly.
not asking, but while he is very focused, it means that he's not concerned about what you're doing,
No.
which is a relief for a person who's, oh, like I'm worried about what people are, watching me. Oh, they're, I don't want to look bad. Like, people are there. They're focused on what they're doing. They might notice that, you're doing your own thing, but there's never anything wrong with somebody that's learning. You know what I mean? You're doing your thing. You're learning, and keep going.
I've lived in so many little towns around Thunder Bay now that every single time I go to a new gym, it's like a new crew of people I meet. Like I'm living a marathon right now because of COVID situation here, working here. So I literally had to join a new gym, and I walked in there and I knew nobody, right? But within the first week, just like, taking your headphones out, hey man, what's your name? You know what I mean? Just making random conversations now. Now I talk to these guys every single day. You know
And,
what I mean?
and you're going to continue to, and now next thing you know, you're hanging out outside the gym, and
They're
next
following
thing
me on Instagram, and they're like,
yeah,
there's a whole crew of power lifters here that I had no idea existed. I know all the power lifters from like the west of Thunder Bay, but there's like a crew of 20, 21-year-olds here, and they're all into powerlifting, and they're super strong kids. I'm like, wow, I thought I would have known. Like, you're only 2.5, 3 hours away from me. I feel like if you could deadlift over 500 pounds, I probably know who you are.
yeah.
But
I think it's important to note that the competition in the gym lies within yourself.
Oh, for sure, 100%.
And so you're there to outdo yourself, and you're there to watch everyone and encourage everyone else to also outdo themselves, and to continue to make gains and continue to keep chasing goals, whether it's bodybuilding like yourself, wow, or I know you've done like long distance cycling and stuff before, or you're just trying to stay in shape, or you're just taking up a hobby, right? And so you touched on hi mom. Mom's trying to tiptoe.
I haven't seen your mom in forever.
Get in here, Mom. She hasn't seen you in forever either, Jord.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Better now I've seen you in the flesh.
We're talking everything health and fitness, and we're talking about how people need to be encouraged to go to the gym because it's not as intimidating of an environment as people think.
No, actually.
And so, yeah, and then we're going to see where the rest of the conversation goes, and yeah, we keep rolling.
We keep going. Good to see you.
Good to see you as well. With that whole thing being said, like if you want to learn what's up and you want to be shown in person, that's what personal trainers are for, man. Now lots of personal trainers, they like to sell these big packages, right? Because that's their living, right? They need to survive. They need to put food on the table. You know what I mean? They need to pay rent or for their house, right?
Mm-hmm.
But and that again, like if you're new to the gym, like lots of personal trainers offer a package of like 4 to 8 sessions, right? 8 sessions with a personal trainer knows what they're doing. They can teach you a lot of things. You can go through almost every. I had one client that literally wanted to be taken through every single piece of equipment in the entire gym. Mm-hmm. So he paid for 4 sessions and was like, "You're going to take me through every piece of equipment."
Right.
Like, sure, man, let's go. So I took him through every single piece of equipment. And if you've been in Movati, it's massive. Yeah. So it took 4 sessions for us to go through everything. We honestly, some of them we didn't even use, but I just showed them how to use it, kind of thing, you know. But yeah, there was a good start right there. I mean, it cost them a little bit of money, but when you look at health and fitness, you can't really put a price on your health, right?
Right.
If you're healthier and you're avoiding disease and stuff like that, right, and taking care of yourself, is there really a price on that, right? Mm-hmm. We'll go out and we'll buy 2 pizzas. No problem, but paying $60 for a month for a gym membership is like taboo.
Yes.
Right? But if you go every second day, how much is that really a day?
Exactly. Not very much. No, so
you're looking at like a cup of coffee a day.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. So now somebody listening to this and they're agreeing with us, right? They're thinking, man, like they're right. Like, I shouldn't be worried about all this stuff. Now the next step might be to get the gym membership. And I think my advice as to where that gym membership is really doesn't matter. The closest one to you, perfect, right? They're all pretty well the same. It's after you've been in there where maybe you decide, all right, well, maybe I like the more garage style, grungy, like old weights style, or you do like the very fancy, more body type environment. So then step one, get a gym membership as close to you as possible. And
if you want a gym membership and you want somebody to care about you and take you through everything, get a gym membership to a privately owned gym. Someone that's in your community that owns their own private gym, not one of these big like Good Lives and stuff like that. It's convenient if you live in a big city or if you're traveling a lot and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But if you go to someone who's a private owner of a gym and you sign up, man, they are so thankful for you supporting their business, and they will go through everything with you, man. I know all the gyms in Thunder Bay that are privately owned. Like, you are their family, man. You go there every single day. They know everybody's names. They know how much you can squat, how much you can bench, how much you can overhead press, how much you can deadlift. You know what I mean? And they are pumped when you set a personal record. Like, they are there to encourage you to the most. So if you're scared of joining a gym, go to a gym that's privately owned by someone in your community, and they will take such good care of you. You will learn mountains of stuff in no time at all.
Right. And that like you said, if it's personally owned, it's probably smaller, and if it's smaller, that means the circle within the gym is way tighter. And so it is like a family in there, man. Like I totally agree with that, and I'm glad you made that point, because I would have definitely overlooked that. Step one, get a gym membership closest to you. Make sure that it is privately owned, and then I think because it's privately owned, then that takes care of any other steps that I could have even come up with, because you're going to go there and they're going to be very call it intimate, right?
For sure.
It's not, hey, welcome to Average Joe's gym. You know, it's
Planet Fitness.
Right. It's
Here's
not
a piece
that.
of pizza.
Yeah. It's like, no, welcome to my home, right? It's a privately owned gym. Like, this is that gym owner is probably there more than they are at home, and they're
for sure, man. That's their business, man. That's their bread and butter, right?
And so Mom's writing something down. She's got her hand raised here. I don't know what that's meant to be, how that's meant to be incorporated. Mom wrote one word down, and it's pride. And on the fly, I think what she's trying to say is that the gym owner takes great pride.
Oh, for sure, man.
In their home that they're willing to welcome you into.
That's their baby, man. Like, if that's your business and stuff like that, that is what you've invested all of your money in, right? Yeah. So if you invest all your money in a Lamborghini, you're going to drive that thing around and be happy. You know what I mean? If you've invested all your money in a gym and all this beautiful equipment and everything, the cool thing is now that you're Lamborghini, you're not going to let everyone drive it, right?
Yeah.
But you invest all that money in the gym, you're sharing health and fitness with how many hundreds of people, right? And they're not there just to make a buck. Like, most gym owners are there to go the extra mile. And this is what they love to do, and they want to share it with everyone, right?
Yeah. That's awesome. I mean, I know the gym myself has been so important since the age of 15. I know that you were in there with me at the age of 15, and I miss that. And I wish that we were both in the same town so that we could go get a workout in together, no doubt.
And then some sushi after.
Oh, man, do I miss some sushi. Mom just made like the barf face. I mean, let's get back to the point, right? We're raising awareness for mental health, right? We're raising awareness for mental health in Belfast, as well as Dryden, as well as anywhere, right? I think that everything we're talking about is not exclusive to a specific place. And so I guess what I want to ask you about, which of course you can share as much or as little about, is how are you? I know that you recently released a post, it was the Suicide Prevention Day. Which, of course, if we can have even the slightest hand in limiting that, so important to talk about mental health. And in doing so, of course, we have to talk about our own. And so how are you?
I'm okay right now. I've this whole pandemic's I lost my career job, right? And I had to take a contract job, moving away from home. And now I'm away from my house, I'm away from my dog. I love that guy. My God. Tony's the man.
Yeah.
We didn't name him Tony. He came with Tony. We adopted him at 4 months, and he just responded to it, so we just kept it. Yeah. But and then obviously away from my girlfriend Alexis too. So it's been a rough go, but I mean, I'm grateful that I have a job and I could pay bills, right? So
Right.
I'm fortunate enough that I have a degree that I can pretty much find a job ASAP, right? So I'm, I mean, that's the biggest thing, right? Like being able to afford a roof over your head and stuff like that. So living away from town's tough, but it could be worse, right? And
I
that's what
hear
I'm talking up to.
I hear a lot of gratitude coming out of you, and I'm really happy that you're in that state of that right now, because it's one I'm trying to practice more and more. Um, you know, we get served up a tough situation, both of us, and you know, I've taken on a totally new job, which I could talk about forever because it's going so well, and I'm really happy that I'm out there. And you yourself, although the circumstances of where the job is, you are working and you are adapting, and you know, I can only imagine that your time away from home and away from Tony and away from Alexis makes the return home all the greater, right? And then, you know, well, I mean, like, it's an event, right? You get to miss them, and then you get to see them. You know, that's been the
It
my
is.
whole life.
But the thing is that every single time you go home now, it's like harder and harder and harder and harder to leave, right?
Right.
So I kind of get why guys are doing this whole 21-7 rotation. Mine's a little different. I work at 12 and 4. So I'm away for almost 2 weeks and then I'm back for 4. But then like I'm so busy with those 4 days, like I'm doing like housework and like visiting my parents and stuff and seeing friends and stuff. Like it's almost like I don't have any alone time. And then when I'm in marathon, I'm working 10 to 12 hours and then going to the gym and then coming home, packing my lunch and going to bed. Kind of like how you are living right now, right?
Yeah.
So it's you don't really get much alone time, and I feel like that kind of plays into mental health too. You know, you mean like everyone needs that little bit of time to reflect and stuff, and it's kind of tough when you're working insane hours, as you know, right?
I know that myself, I need to be around people, but there's also times where I need a bit of a recharge, and I know that I'm not getting that right now. But I know that I think the reason I'm all right is because I do get a lot of alone time at work, right? And so I take that alone time at work to reflect and to recharge, and you know, basically get what I need while I'm there anyhow. And so I think that's kind of what makes it the beauty of the job also, is that, you know, I compared it in conversation recently with Jordan Smotherman, and I compared the job I do to basically pre-practice, right? Pre-practice in the room, get to chat, and then of course all of a sudden, all right, work to be done, and then now everyone goes to work. Of course, that's when I get my alone time, is in the cab, and I got my food going. I got basically a buffet in the cab, and I'm back and forth all day, and
There you go.
it's going really well. But of course, with that comes an interesting kind of change for me right now. Also, tomorrow, of course, this will be released at a different date. Tomorrow is when the EIHL will determine whether or not they go forward with the season. And so, while I'm totally enjoying what I'm doing, in or creeping in the, well, what am I gonna do, right? And so, am I retired? There's a constant like question that's, you know, irritating to say the least. Like, am I retired, man? Like, what? Right? Like, and you get stuck on that thought. And but I think what I'm really trying to do is to see, well, if I'm not going to play, what am I going to do? And the options coming about are awesome. I don't want to share those quite just yet, because you know, you don't want to present information too soon. But just really trying to be excited for the future, and regardless of if that's playing or if that's doing all this other cool stuff that I think I'm going to play. But so I think we covered some good topics, man. I really think we nailed it home with encouraging people to go to the gym, and I really wanted to hammer that home with you as somebody who lives in a gym, kind of like myself.
They're a little too much sometimes, but I mean, it's a good place to go clear your head as well, right? So
right. And so I'm super glad that we got on here tonight. Really excited to talk to you. Excited to continue to talk to you. Excited to encourage further conversations about mental health, and keep kind of pushing this movement forward. And I appreciate you volunteering and approaching me and helping in any way you can. And next thing you know, a matter of days, here we are. And thank you so much.
yeah, thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really appreciate the support. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. See here a link to anything that's happened thus far with the campaign and where you'll find anything else that'll continue to happen with it. Hope you guys enjoyed this interview. Don't be shy to like, share, comment, all that good stuff to ensure that we can continue having these conversations within our communities, our homes, and amongst each other. Understand that you're not alone and reach out in a time of need. Also see here a link to my Just Giving page in support of Action Mental Health Northern Ireland, as well as stay tuned for the following credits showing a list of resources here in Dryden and surrounding area.